Welcome to my EDU 617 Technology and Education presentation. My name is Courtney Loftus and I'm going to be taking you through some things that I've learned through this class. A tool, I use Jeopardy Rocks. This is an online tool that you can use to create Jeopardy games. For example, I created a Jeopardy Rocks Jeopardy game for my first unit of social studies, which is on Florida. Now, I was able to create my headings of map skills, climate, severe weather, geography, and Native Americans. I was able to input questions and also put in my own answers. This is one of the questions that I was able to click on and see. As you can see down the bottom here, there are 4 different categories, meaning that there's 4 different teams, and each team has the opportunity to respond, but whichever team is first to respond, I would click on this little check mark here and that team would get the points if they're able to answer correctly. The correct answer was lines of latitude, and so that allows them to actually get their points, especially if they are able to answer correctly. My favorite trending talk was on Plickers, a tool that allows for real-time formative assessment of students using cards and a cell phone. See here on their website, each student has their own card. The student will hold up their card in a certain way, and then the teacher will scan their cell phone across the classroom to then assess the student's answers. In this class, I also watched a webinar titled Beyond LMS Boundaries, Web 2.0 Enriching Online Learning and Assessment. Through this webinar, I learned about Khan Academy, ABCYA, Diigo, Padlet, Glogster, VoiceThread, Voki, and Animoto. Although I already knew about some of these tools, it was nice to also learn about some that I had not known about. One other really important article that I had received from this webinar was called the Schrock Guide. I'm going to show you what this website looked like and why it is so valuable. This website was so useful because it gives you applications that go along with Bloom's taxonomy. As you can see here, this one is for iPads. So if you wanted to use an application for creating, you would go ahead and look at this C and look across here. The applications themselves are not listed here, but if you click on each one, it will then go to the App Store so you can download it. However, underneath each application, it tells you exactly which application is for. So for example, if I wanted to do a podcast, I would then have my students use this application on an iPad. There were also Android apps listed, as well as online tools. All of these resources are extremely useful and can be successful in any classroom. During this course, I watched 2 different Atomic Learning videos. My first was by Leslie Fisher, and she presented classroom technology. She broke the video into 2 different sections. The first section was on classroom tech, and the second section was on augmented reality. Under classroom tech, I was able to learn about some teacher tools. For example, ScreenLeap, Recordit, and Kahoot. For augmented reality, I was able to learn about Anatomy 4D, Aurasma, Blipper, Color Mix app, Elements 4D, and Guinness World Records in 3D. Kahoot is an application online that I had already had use with. Children love this game as it is a way to be interactive and also be formatively assessed. I went and looked into the Guinness World Records in 3D, and that was a very interesting use because the students are able to interact with the Guinness World Records and see that through a 3D device on the phone. The second Atomic Learning video I watched was on technology for students with learning disabilities. I was able to learn about Quizlet, Readability, Speakit, Skimzy, My Study Life, and Stay Focused. All of these applications were great for not only students with learning disabilities, but also for any of your students. Now, with these websites, and they were able to actually be applications that linked up to your web browser, some of them actually were able to make it so much easier for students to stay focused and on task. Applications was even able to condense what students are reading. So for example, if there's a 5-paragraph online source that students are required to read, yet you have a student with a learning disability who is not able to read fluently or can get easily distracted due to disengagement, you can use this application called Skimzy, which would then actually condense what they are reading into the most important few paragraphs so that the students are actually learning what they need to without becoming disengaged. During this course, I was also able to participate in a MOOC. A MOOC is a massive open online course. The course that I participated in was called Games and Education, Gamification. Through this MOOC, I was able to learn that you should provide control with games. Now, this is the difference between a student feeling like they're learning versus disengaging because they feel like they're actually being assessed. When something is gamified, you're able to empower your students and build self-esteem, and they do not feel humiliated because it's not an actual grade, it's something that they're playing and enjoying. Finally, we learned about copyright and fair use. I watched a video which was on text, and this taught me that there should only be one page per book copied each year. You can make copies of one chapter per student in your classroom. And finally, teachers can use the help of the school librarian for fair use because they have many more opportunities. After learning about copyright and fair use, I am much more aware of what I'm actually doing to make sure that I am not abusing the copyright and fair use.